Yeah, Drum, you're a little quieter than normal, just so you know.
Well, because I'm in a public place and I'm still at work.
Oh, so you're being quiet.
Oh, he's being quiet on purpose.
Yeah, my wife doesn't think that's possible, but I'm trying.
Neither does mine.
What?
That's funny. I'll turn him up a little bit on my end. All right. Let's call this to order.
Let's do it.
SAC 2. Our public weekly tag up, meeting number 5, May 10th, 2025. Here we are. I think, Carlos, you updated our taglines under each person. Bodhi, as we move through and get more experience under our belt as a council together, our roles are starting to define a little bit more. So Bodhi right now is looked at as like the treasurer of our council. Carlos is very comfortably in the secretary position, doing all sorts of forwarding, liaising, coordinating with the council, automata, just a lot of connecting. Emperor, I think, is starting to settle into like a council chair position, kind of like is that center mediator almost, nexus, if you will. I don't know, Emperor, how would you describe that?
Middle child.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Kind
I'm on the
of my
other
lane
end.
that I'm decent about. So
I'm on the other end, kind of like the more aggressive, proactive, like just charging forward type. So I think that's why Carlos put me as a presiding officer, and I've been running the meetings, kind of like as like a procedural stuff, like starting them, stopping them, doing the typing in real time. As all of us kind of get into this role of doing the slides together, my intent is that even if I'm not here, you all can open up these slides and do these meetings with or without me or anybody. That's what I'd like to get to eventually, to where y'all are comfortable doing that. And Signal, definitely public relations. So much so the mediator and the making sure people jive well with each other, and just making sure that human element is cared after, looked after.
Public relations outside the council, Dr. Phil, internal to the council.
Yeah. So if you haven't,
Sometimes Jerry Springer.
That's
Yes,
exactly
sometimes
what
Jerry
I was
Springer.
just thinking. Oh man, I had the exact same thought.
So if you're looking at my
That's
stream
funny.
right now, I guess it's also shown here too, but Startless DAO Council, so SA_DAO_council. If you haven't already, please give it a like, a follow. It is an active account. That's mostly Signal behind it, and he's doing all sorts of posts. Good things you need to know about our DAO, and just keeping up to date with what we're up to as a council. Okay, and then the mission statement, we put a plug-in for that on the agenda, so I think we'll get to that today. Our term started April 11th, and it will end January 11th. So thanks, Carlos, for updating all of that. Stakeholder diagram. I don't think much has changed since added Segwit last. I don't think I added anyone else. Yep, and that's no changes right now. Treasury. I think I saw in the chat that Signal, did you update this? Someone said they updated it. Okay. Cool.
He took the snapshot. I don't think he added it to the PowerPoint, but I could be wrong.
Oh, is it in the chat?
yeah, it's just
You know,
in the chat.
Internal,
You need
yeah.
you need
All right,
to
there we go.
retrieve it.
I just copy pasted it over. Okay,
Yeah, it's
let's
like
look
5K
at
more than last month, which is a nice thing. Or
so
last week.
marketplace fees at 4.6K. Rental fees are $2. Cool. Atlas crafting by far the largest, almost 50 grand, and marketplace fees running at about the same as marketplace. USD marketplace fees running the same as Atlas marketplace fees. Cool. So about 60,000.
I do got to say, That is so cool that we can have this type of revenue. It's a huge blessing that Automata has given us as a DAO and as a community. It's just people have no idea how hard funding can be to come by for some of this stuff. You know that as much as any of us Lancer, but I do want to publicly state that it's amazing and it's a huge gift.
I think I mentioned from time to time, I'm active in about 9 or 10 DAOs. Full time, it's just Star Atlas and Sandbox. But this is the only DAO that has a self-sustaining functional economy that I've seen. The only one. All the other ones have some sort of endowment from other entities or grants, but none of them have a sustainable revenue source. So this is very singular right now. I think that is the coolest thing ever. Okay, I think eventually what we're going to want to do is get some sort of screenshot to where we can also see the outlays. So we've got the inflow and the outflow, but one piece at a time. Just updating the revenue, I think, is great. That's a wonderful start. And let's get to our quad. All right, what sort of accomplishments did we have? The last thing, I really need to start marking this in a different
Ye-
color.
Yeah, well, one thing I wanted to, because Drum was going to update this, but we didn't want to delete anything off of your slide and replace it with anything. I guess what should we do
And
with that?
I added 0.7 today, by the way.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So the way I normally handle this is whenever we brief it or go over it at a weekly meeting, I scroll down to slide. I have an archive of accomplishments slide here somewhere. There it is. So I go to slide 19, and each side of the slide is a month. So I'll add the rest of April down here on the left-hand side, and then I'll start May on the right-hand side, and then this just will grow over the course of our time. And that way we can keep track of what we did before while not crowding out the quad. So the first thing we have is April with a question mark, PIP 14, deepening Theo integration. Oh, right. So that closed. When did that close?
I think everything was done up till 6. Could be wrong.
April what? When did it close? Or May what? Is it in the pool prep here?
I don't think it's gonna say.
I know I saw it somewhere.
I know Signal made an announcement at some point.
That was
It'd be
last
2
week.
weeks. It would
Yeah, it
be
looks
2 weeks
like
from now.
May 1st and April 30th were PIP 14, AI Assistant Theo, and
And 13,
um,
Irish Bounty.
the other one.
13, Irish Bounty.
So 13 was April 30th and 14 was May 1st.
Yeah, so 429, PIP 13 for creating council term limits failed to pass. Creation of Theo was in like its last moments, and PIP 12, which was the Irish Bounty, passed. So
That was
there
on-
was a whole bunch of them within like 24 hours of each other that kept crossing the finish line around the end of April, beginning of May. They didn't all quite launch at the same time, so they didn't cross the finish line at the same time.
Okay. So PIP 12 is April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
PIP 13 was April 29th. Maybe
That
April
seems
30th.
correct, yeah.
Because
The
13.
29th was the announcement on 13 not making it.
Okay. All right. Then I'll put.
I'm checking by reading DAO announcements.
All right. And then
for when
14 we think
announce
is
the
May
different
1st.
things. Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. I just updated the
Yeah,
announcements.
they started 2 days apart.
Perfect.
Got it. Okay. Then May 2nd, we finished the pip markdown of Raiden. And I think I just saw on... Did it
It's
go to
up there.
vote?
It's live. Yeah.
As is in-person meetup platforms?
Yes.
Okay, so that
You wanna,
created 3
while we're
days
streaming
ago.
on them, you want to show status on the two?
So Pip's 15 and Pip 16 went live for vote. Nice. That's a great update. Who put that in there for May 8th?
I did.
Right
Not
on,
me.
man. Nicely done. Finished Pip markdowns. Cool. So for those of you watching, as you can see, this kind of battle rhythm that we're getting into, we finished that Pip markdown of Raiden Systems on the 2nd, and then 6 days later, it went up for vote. So that's where you can start to kind of look into what it is that we do on the inside. We finished the Pip markdown on May 3rd for DAOcasters and ecosystem media expansion, and then that will be, when it goes through the process internally, it'll go for vote. Cool. Upcoming milestones other than our weekly internal council meetings. Bodhi, I have a question mark in May for you to establish a standard operating procedure for paying Star Atlas pips.
Yeah, I've been visiting with my family right now, so I'll be back back home in 3 days, and I'll be able to really start cranking that out.
What day do you think?
It should be done. I would say by.
Give
I'll
yourself a few extra days too.
Oh, no, yeah, I think by the middle of the month.
Okay.
Say like by the
So
19th, it should be done.
by the 19th? Alrighty.
Or yeah, well, I'll shoot for the 18th so that it's done by our weekly meeting.
The
Or no,
17th?
Saturday. I'm looking at
Okay,
the
so then
17th.
I'll
Yeah,
put the
thanks.
17th, and
So
then we'll...
I'll try and have it done by next week.
Cool. Anybody else? Do you have any other events or milestones coming up we need to note?
Well,
Yeah, I created and laid out a cadence that we could be following for social media and announcements. I'm going to post that in the chat, and people can give feedback on it.
Oh, the voting
and
alerts.
also the foundation already cleared the KYC for PIP 11, and Body already
Yeah,
gave them
essentially alerting
the
people right
wallet.
before vote opens, once it goes live, 72 hours before it's done, and then when it finally crosses the finish line. If we get community pip ideas that cross like more than 12 likes, like it seems like not only are they actionable, but the community is showing some degree of support for them. We can announce those as posts just to draw attention to what new stuff is popping up. Recaps on the live stream, when we share meeting minutes and stuff like that after the fact, as well as letting people know that the live stream's going to pop up. And that's about the gist of them, as well as like some topics that can just be punched up, through the week. But
That's pretty cool,
a
Signal.
lot of opportunities for posts.
I think Signal doesn't hear me. If someone can tell him, he might have me muted.
We're going to
Hey,
go
Signal,
from
you
having...
might have. Oh, yeah.
Signal, can
Signal,
you
can you hear us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Carlos has been talking.
You might have drum. You might have drum muted.
Oh, if that's possible, I sure as heck didn't mute drum. But
Oh, it's possible.
let's see here. I
He
have
was
such
talking.
powers.
He was talking while you were talking.
He keeps talking over me.
Yeah, Drum, what was that KYC date for 11?
Okay, so the KYC was approved, and Body already sent the wallet and the first amount agreed on the PIP. So that's ongoing. It hasn't been sent, but we got that communication started, and they are being they are answering really quickly about all this. So that's good.
I need a date. When was the PIP 11 KYC completed?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Well,
Yesterday.
yesterday we were
Nice.
informed that it was approved.
We were informed that it was approved yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And what was the other one that's upcoming? You said there was another KYC?
Theo is going to have to be funded soon, and all the subsequent PIPs. The ones in between the 11 and 14 didn't need funding.
Okay. So we still have to. Oh, is that what we got to go over the rules today for that?
Yeah, and this is the first time we're actually sending money from a PIP author. So this is the
Okay.
first financial disbursement from the foundation in coordination with us. So this is all a new process for everyone, and that's why it has taken a little longer than we hopefully we have
Yeah,
implemented
yeah.
now moving forward. Yeah.
All right. So I'll put established financial disbursement protocol for PIP 12. And the date
Yeah,
we
and
can
on that
put.
note, we also got some insight as to how the foundation processes the KYC,
Oh.
because it is a little more in depth than I had anticipated. Yeah,
Okay.
there's like an app that does like facial recognition to make sure that you're actually alive. There's yeah, a couple. It's a little bit more involved than even like an exchange KYC. So that'll be good to have that insight, so we can. That was part of the process. Is it kind of went back and forth where I think like bits and pieces of it were being done, and so now we should be able to just tell the PIP authors, hey, you need this, this, and that, and we can kind of streamline the process. So we got all that information now, so that'll help.
Right on. I just had to do KYC for Sandbox Roll, and it was the same thing. It was an app. You had facial recognition. It was a.
Yeah, like biometrics. I was like,
Yeah, I
damn, we're
know. I
doing
had to do it like
biometrics. That's kind of
5
crazy.
times in a row because it wouldn't like. It said your face looks weird. I'm like, it does not look weird, jerk.
Yeah, so that should streamline it.
All right, I'll put May 17th because if we don't finish the discussion today, then we can finish it by next week or over the course of the week as we talk. Anybody else have any other inputs?
Nope.
TT Donovan asked the FTX claim process. Anyone do that? I'm not familiar of our involvement in that at all. Is anybody else?
That's been going on for
Well, the DAO.
months.
What do you mean the FTX claim process?
I don't
No,
know.
for
TT
people that
Donovan
lost
put it in
money
the chat.
during
Oh, okay.
FTX,
I thought like a
given
DAO thing.
No, it's
No,
yeah, it
he's
doesn't.
just curious.
wrong
Is it
chat,
terrible?
buddy. Wrong chat.
So not affiliated with us at all. Okay, got it. All right. Responsibility hasn't changed. Does anyone want to amend their goals? I'm still squarely working
I
out
feel like the social media is being taken care of, so you could probably tick that one off the list on the end of mine.
On Bodie's.
I just wanted a
Ooh.
Twitter, man. That's all I
Nice.
wanted. We
That
got
is
it.
definitely an
So.
accomplishment then. Bodie's goal, or at least half of goal number 1 is done. I've been
I'm very
tracking,
happy
by
with
the
my
way,
goal as well.
goal 1. That was yours as well, Carlos?
No, that I've been happy with my goal, which was to keep consistency and try to follow up on what got started last term and continuing. I think we're doing really well on that.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get into a groove. All right, good with that. What's next? Action items. I think we only have. Yeah, we have 3 open. Coordinate working group for PIP reviews. Bodie, is there anything we need to note there?
Buddy and I need to sit down and rework that a little bit, but he has been busy with the moving and the visiting family, and I've been swamped with work, but we are going to catch up to that soon, right, Buddy? You will let me know when you have a little bit more time, and I should be back home.
Yeah, I'll be back on Monday, so I'll be good then.
Got it.
All right. I'll be back on the 18th, so if we start before that, cool.
Next one was determine strategy of tool creation for SAC2 dashboard. Emperor, you were on that one.
Still a work in progress.
Okay. Still ongoing due diligence, coordinating with Automata.
Yep, and that's one of my action items later on to actually talk about some of it
Alrighty. And the last one we have
if we have
open,
time.
obtain Startless DAO Council domain and email. Carlos, you were on that one. It was ongoing, awaiting automata feedback.
Well, now that Dan is back, we will retake that conversation. We met with Dan once this week, but we didn't touch the subject because we were catching up on other things.
Right.
But I think Dan will be able to give us some good news because I know he had a domain, and I know he was working in some things related to that. So if it's not exactly what we need, at least we will know so we can act on it. But he will
Okay.
be able to give us definitive answers, which Michael couldn't sometimes because Dan was still in charge.
Got it. Okay. Right, now we're on to the meeting minutes. Wait. All right, I think we're all here. Yeah, we are all here. And we did start on time. We did the quads, we did the action items. All right, first one up on the list, Emperor, is Iris Bounty Form.
Yeah, we need to kind of go over this. I'm hoping you can pull it up on the stream, but
I got you covered.
you, Lanzer, created a very amazing document. I don't think we have to go through super in depth, like maybe like 3 minutes on the boring part, and then maybe we can give people a rundown on how it actually looks to click through, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So I think we can just, if you don't mind, just running through what you created in like 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. So this is a Google Doc. It pretty much is the center of planning thing to kind of gather all our thoughts. Part A is just a link tree. So it kind of gets you to the place you want to go faster than just scrolling through all the different parts below. Part B is I copy pasted Iris Bounty, and then I started highlighting all the imperatives. So all the things that we must do, we must follow, things that require us to abide by rules when we create this process. Things like maximum of $500 per request. The program allocates 10,000 of Atlas. There's all these other things that are going on. So I highlighted it, color coordinated. That way, when I drafted the form, we kind of had a clear picture of what we were aiming for. Did all that through his entire proposal, and then we get down to part C. For some reason, it wanted me to do a snapshot. I'm not exactly sure what that was all about, but I did it. There's a via Radium, and I noted the time. I think it was a little bit after when it was supposed to be taken per the pip, but I didn't know how else to do it, so I just did it like this. And I did USD to Atlas and Atlas to USD, just back and forth there. And then I also had the currency conversion at the time that this was done. So one Atlas equaled 0.00129 USD, or 1 USD equals 774 Atlas. So I still don't know what the purpose of that is, but it was there in the pip, so I did it. Part D, then I just kind of theorized what the rule set would actually look like when we put the rules together. And that was taking all the above parts into consideration. And then part E is the actual form. It's a Google form. Made it very let's call it, I made it as streamlined as possible. And so here is a table of here's a table of a step-by-step with pictures of what you're going to input, which I'm basically going to go over right now, and how to click through stuff. And then on our end, how do we review responses? How do we grade? And then what happens after we hit save and share the score with the submitter. So it looks a little bit like this. So the application for PIP 12, Iris's Bounty, the feast. Actually, before I move into that, that was my 2-minute summary of the whole document. Were there any questions? Anything we need to retag on?
I don't think so.
No, that's all
Cool.
good. And the
All right.
only caveat that I wanted to comment on was the price will be dictated in USDC, and the conversion will be done at the moment that the foundation is sending the funds. So that will be the Atlas versus dollar snapshot just when it's sent. That way, if the author wants to exchange it at that moment, he will secure the USDC. But if we're in the middle of a bull run, maybe he waits a day or two. So that's good. We want to stimulate people to keep the atlas as long as they can, if possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that snapshot will be taken every time there's a payout, I'm assuming. Not just that one
Oh,
time.
that makes
That,
makes
yeah.
way more
Correct.
sense.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
The wording in the pip was a little confusing to me. I don't think I got that as that was obvious. But okay,
We
if
got
that's
some clarification after the fact with
Oh.
Wagner is when we decided that the best way to approach the volatility was to put the budgets in USDC and then the exchange done at the moment of sending the money. Even if that is, in favor or against the vault in the exchange, it doesn't matter because we are committing with a proposal that was approved for a certain amount USDC.
That makes a lot more sense now here in implementation details. Under section 6 of the PIP, Atlas snapshot and USD will be taken on the day the vote concludes if it passes, and then talks about how it's going to be paid out in stable
So
coin.
I've got a question. Are we pulling a $10,000 worth of Atlas out of the ecosystem fund, and then that's basically our cachet for this whole pip, and then
Yes,
it's going
that's
to
the
be kept in
intention.
Atlas the entire time?
Yes.
So it's possible if Atlas gets to a higher price, we could even get this thing going longer,
Yes,
Yeah,
so
this thing.
especially
that's
since
kind of
it's
cool.
denominated in USDC payout. So, like, if Atlas doubled in price, theoretically, you could take care of twice as many people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
this has the potential to last for years if we hit the right market, and all of a sudden ending next year too. But yeah.
Cool.
That's an interesting little thing. Okay. So here's the Google form, everybody. If you see this at the top, an application for PIP 12, you were in the right place. So in accordance with PIP 12, and it's linked there in case you want to look at the details yourself. This form is created to streamline the process for funding small-scale Star Atlas social events. And all I did was just copy pasta. Okay, the first thing it asks for is your email. Second thing,
Go back up real quick. Go back
Hmm.
up. The name. Okay. No, carry on. Go.
then please confirm the following. So this is the distillation that it was talking about earlier, all that color coding or color coordinated highlighting I did, all the stuff that was important for everyone to understand. Maximum of $500 per request. Any Star Atlas community member can apply. Payment will be paid in Atlas? Maybe that's not true anymore.
Yeah,
Must
it
be
is.
a public event.
It is true. It is true.
It is true? Okay. Must be a public event and open to any persons with a connection to Star Atlas. The Atlas
Is
USD value
that
will be
clear enough? That's one of the things I wanted to go over. Do we all feel that's clear enough?
I guess.
I think so.
But in what situation, Emperor, do you feel like it wouldn't be clear?
I don't know. It's just a knee-jerk reaction when I was reading through it, and I put it on my notes. All persons with a connection to Star Atlas. It's vague, which I like, but does anybody think it's too vague at this point?
I think what this
Yeah,
is
we need to
guarded
have
against
something that
is
prevents people from just saying, "Oh, I got a community event," and then it's just like them and their fiance grabbing dinner, every other week. Just,
okay.
you know what I
I
mean?
didn't plan
Like
on that one,
we
but
gotta have some sort of bar that is like,
Yeah, but at the
I don't
same
know. Is that the
time,
last thing?
you want to encourage people that are not within the ecosystem yet to assist and get informed and learn about it, like the Comet meetup. The idea is to bring gamers from Gamescom and introduce them to Star Atlas. So I still find that is correct.
I think what this is meant to stop is that Club or Rome says I want $500 for an event, and it's only open to Club or Rome, and it's not open to
I
anyone else.
agree.
I think that's what this is meant to prevent from happening.
Yes.
Oh, then it should just be open to anyone. Period. Must be a public
All I
event
did was
open
just
to
copy
everyone.
paste the language of the PIP in this case.
All right, and we can probably just leave it. And while we're on this subject, I guess, there's somewhere in here, and I think we have the authority. I think all of us have read this in depth. Do we have a section that we can add somewhere where we as the council can edit the form at any time? Like if we figure out that, oh god damn it, somebody's messing around with this section.
Yeah.
Can we what does the rest of you guys think?
Yeah, well, the PIP already kind of gives us that leeway,
Yes.
just based on how the process itself is it's omitted. So we basically
Right.
are just in charge of figuring out that process, making sure that it's being handled properly and nobody's taking advantage of it. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of by default means we can do that.
Should we add that at the very beginning? Click at the very beginning of the actual form. Like, please note the council has authority to change this at any time or something like that.
Well, we,
I mean-
we cannot change the form.
We
Yeah,
can't.
we can change the form.
We definitely can. The entire program is completely within council's
I mean,
purview.
before it's submitted, you're
Oh.
putting these to people that are filling out the form, understand the form. But if we are telling them that we can change their form, that's not going to sound right.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Per
After
PIP
it's
12,
submitted.
Section 4.4.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Once
because
it's
this is not a,
submitted.
Not their submission, but we can change the
Start
form
us out
itself.
council.
yeah, but this form is literally their particular submission. They are thinking on their party and their meetup, and they're filling out the information for that event. That's why I don't think it needs to be here.
Gotcha.
I think it needs to be somewhere that we can update after, once it's been submitted, once they click submit down at the bottom, then we can't do anything, and that's fine.
Nothing we're doing is creating a constitution that we can't undo
There.
or
Look at what I
create
just
amend it.
ourselves. I guess is all I'm pointing out.
Look what I
Us
just
even
typed.
writing
Me too.
this form is well within our authority as council off of the PIP.
Look
We
at what I
could
just typed.
literally change this form into any number of things 2 weeks from now, change criteria, change the way that things operate, and it would still be well within what the PIP illustrated for
Throw the
how
word
it's implemented.
Throw the word application form in there just to specify that we're not
This
changing
form?
their application. Yeah, this
But
application
pretty much
form.
the whole PIP was there's going to be a program for helping people fund events, and the whole rest of the implementation was essentially council will figure it out and do it.
How about
So-
this process? All right.
I think a warning that the requirements can change at any point by the council's judgment is enough.
Okay, cool. All right.
The only two
I
things I
just-
have is like feedback on this, if any. Like, and this is just my own opinion on it. But like, it might be cool if we had a per person limit on funding request. Like, if it's maximum $50 of value per person, right? That attends an event or something like that. That way, it doesn't overly reward. Like, if one person gets 10 people crammed together, and requests $500 for that, and then another person only pulls 4 people together and requests $500 for it just because they spent more of the DAO's money, per person as an event. That might be a useful cap or guide to have, so you don't have 2 or 3 people requesting $500.
Well,
Yeah,
John,
I
real
don't.
quick,
Mhm.
were you okay with the wording that we at the thing where we can update the form?
Let me see. The form splitting streamline process funding small scale. The status concealed. Yeah, I am okay with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like that.
Cool.
But the good thing is that this is a reinforcement signal, so we will analyze what people send, the pictures they send, and the invoices they have, and then we'll determine if it makes sense. If we think it's being exploited, we can always deny it. But it would be nice to have that clarification somewhere. I don't know if we need to make a chat for that or something, a special section for that. That's something we can explore.
Yeah, Signal's not wrong. So like if you plan on 50 people coming and you paid the venue $400 and then you bought $100 worth of appetizers and like 3 people show up, that friggin' blows. But if you're like also on the flip side, if 6 people show up or four people show up and you spend $250 a person buying a prime rib dinner, like and drinks, those are the kind of the outliers that I don't know that we have a quantifiable number. I mean, I don't.
I think we should watch and wait for now.
Personally, I would play case by case, because if you do a 5-person meetup in Monaco, and if you do a 5-person meetup in Vietnam, the budgets are going to be completely different.
Yeah.
So I would judge it by case. I would see the invoices they bring over, the pictures, the social media links to their advertisement, and then judge them. Personally, I think that would be safer.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
only thing I'd
Well-
also clarify that it was in the standards that I read. It's kind of implicitly implied, but it's not actually written that all payouts will occur if they occur, after analysis of receipts, like an actual evidence documented costs tied to the event. So if you plan an event that's going to have 8 people in it and you request $400, it's not we send you $400, then 2 showed up, and oh well.
Well, I think Lancer did a good job explaining all this in the forum in the next pages ahead.
Okay, perfect. I saw
Yeah,
things
maybe
that
we should-
referenced it, saying that like you couldn't get recompensated if you didn't have receipts, but like it didn't make clear that like the whole reason for that is that you're just not going to be compensated until all those things are analyzed first.
Yeah.
Like it occurs after the event, not before it. That you
I went very literal. If it didn't say it in the PIP, I didn't put it in here, and I waited for
Perfect.
us to go over it.
But I love
And
it.
we
should just keep
can expand,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have
yeah.
it. You're gonna, on average, we're gonna have if it's $10,000 and each one's $500. We got 20 events. We should have it pretty well dialed in after the first couple ones. I think we'll get a pretty good idea of how these events go and the different types of budgets, and we don't
Yeah.
have to figure it all out right off the bat.
All right. Anyways, so PIP 12, mostly section 4.2 and 4.4 lists out all the requirements for people to abide by: eligibility, payments, public event, at-list values, how requests will be graded. All requests will be reviewed and based on criteria such as feasibility, alignment, community values, and available funds. So it's pretty broad that the PIP authorizes for us to evaluate, and I think we'll be relying on that for a lot of what we just talked about the past 5 minutes.
We should probably create a community values list, huh? That's weird.
That's funny. All right. Anyways, that second question is just an I confirm. I want people to read it, and I want them to click that yes, I confirm. That way, feel peace of mind about that one. Then the second question is going to help navigate your next set of questions. You either need to submit a new request or you need to submit documentation of an already completed event that you were approved for. If you select the first one, it'll bump you down to the new request form, or new request section of the form, which you have to input a description. So basically just a name of what your request is going to be. Then you confirm an additional set of instructions that are applicable to new requests, such as if you don't take at least one picture verifying attendance, you will not meet the requirement for being reimbursed. So we need some pics or didn't happen there.
I
doesn't
want to
mean
go
that
over
one
this.
counts. And that doesn't mean that one counts as everything that you need. It just means if you
Well,
don't,
that's what it.
you don't even
that's
have
what
one,
it
you won't
says.
even begin to be considered.
That's what it says, but maybe this is one of the notes that I wrote down. I want to require several, which is open to
I agree.
interpretation. Several is more than 3. I want to require a video. I would love to have an X post or a Facebook post or like a social media post. That's the least people can do.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
I think that's a little bit
Yeah,
much.
So
couple pictures and
Several-
social media posts is pretty low bar to hit.
Yeah.
I would
It's a
put.
publicly hosted and paid for Star Atlas party. And, absolutely. It should have social
put-
media components.
Yep, I would put on here if I do not take several pictures, a video and a social media post of those who attended, I will not meet the criteria.
I think that's a little
Everybody's
much.
got a cell phone that can do video nowadays. Like even
If you can-
somebody,
Yeah, if you cannot do these basic things, you should not be hosting an event for this purpose, I think. So I agree.
Agreed.
I mean, you're going to make it more about people taking pictures than about actually socializing together.
Man,
No,
it's
Well,
the
I
same
think-
thing.
I think
No, I
the DAO
promise
gets
you,
value
I
from both
mean-
ends.
I've
The DAO
I've
gets the
hosted one of
value
these
of
events. You definitely, it's very easy to snap a ton of photos just hanging out, and enjoying your time with some people. I mean, I did one of these. It was like me and like I want to say like 5 people that did it in Philadelphia, and we got tons and tons of photos and all kinds of, and it did not distract from anything we were doing. Like a dozen photos being popped off when you're hanging out for like 3 or 4 hours is really nothing, especially between whole groups of people.
Yeah, maybe for those
Agreed.
sit down ones. Or let's say we go to NSC
No.
Lisbon or over to
No,
Abu
who cares?
Dhabi, where you're out
Same
there with
thing.
the sand and the heat. It's not very kind to electronic devices.
It's gonna be great
It's fine.
pictures though.
This is 2025. Change it. That's what I say. Put several
Yeah,
pictures, a video, and a social media post.
I'm not a very sentimental person. I don't like taking pictures of parties either, but like, the DAO's funding this, and I feel like that social media, not even just from a liability or not liability, but just making sure we're not being taken advantage of. Like that's but that could be done with a single picture. But we actually get a good amount of value back if there's at least some effort being taken into getting a nice picture of people, and kind of actually showcasing what happened that day and posting that on social media. Then we can share that on our DAO Twitter, retweet it or whatever, and we're getting more value than just the dozen people or whatever that might have shown up. We're
Yeah,
That's
actually
exactly.
getting exposure.
part of the intention of the PIP is provide material to the marketing team in Star Atlas, showing
Yeah.
those those meetings and stuff. And remember, keep in mind, we need still to convince Automata that people are not going to take advantage or they are not going to approve. This PIP, even though it was voted and approved, Automata can still deny it.
I mean, sure, but all right. How many pictures then?
Several.
I think several is good. Yeah.
Several? Like
Yeah.
7?
Yep.
The way I would
Several.
list,
I
the way
think
I would
several is
list it,
just like it's like a vague. It's like
pictures.
saying a few, right? It's like 3 or more or something.
I would say
Yep.
at least 2 pictures per attendee. If you host
Oh,
a
Jesus
3-person,
Christ.
well, no, think about it. You host a 3-person like meetup where 3 people are hanging out. A grand total of 6 photos are taken. You host a giant 10-person meetup. Between 10 people, you're telling me like 20 photos didn't get taken over the course of like a whole hangout, like an event?
Yeah, I'm saying that's very reasonable for there not to be 20 pictures of something like that.
Yeah. Several.
I
The
think
definition of several. Hold on. The definition of several is more than 2, but not many. That's stupid.
there you
Really?
go. That's perfect. Yeah, it's the same as
That's
few. It's just
Oxford.
3 or more.
Few.
Yeah,
Maybe
take a
we'll
few
use few.
pictures.
I think Donovan's got it nailed, meaning like someone will take plenty of these things and it shouldn't be
But we have to
a
get them.
thing. And if you send like one random photo and you're requesting like $500, like no offense, but like screw you.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I want to leave it vague. That's why I
Yeah,
don't want to put
don't
an
ask
actual
for all
number.
of Star Atlas to pay for the event then. Like go pay for it yourself.
Yeah,
Put
and like
several
if it's a
slash
big
few.
event, if it's a big event and they take like 2 pictures, but one of them's a group picture where they actually took the time to get everybody together, then like that's fine, But if it's like this like small obscure event and there's like a couple like snapshots that are like totally random and like basically useless, then like I also like the idea of having it vague because it kind of I feel like it puts a little bit more burden of performance on the people taking the picture. They're like, okay, well, I don't really know what a few is, so let me make sure I get a couple really good ones, which
Right.
again benefits the DAO.
It
Oh,
fits
I would put.
fits the DAO.
I would just put a
Confusion.
few. Just put a few. Take the number out. That way, it's vague and obscure. Which
Guys,
that's
I don't like it
would
being
rather
vague and
have that.
obscure. I think we need a set standard.
2
It-
to 10.
No,
One per attendee.
if we're gonna mention a specific goal, I would say more than 5.
What if
At
you
least
made it 1 per
5.
attendee? I mean, is that functional? If 3 people
No.
got together, it should be at least 3 photos. If 5 did, 5 photos.
And the first one that comes
I
out with
personally like
20.
several.
Because then we're
I'd
then we're
say
in
like
the
several
judge
as
just
like
well.
means
who's a
several
Star
just
Atlas
means
person.
nothing. It means more than one.
It means
Ron, do you
nothing,
like
but
several?
because several doesn't mean anything. But if you send one, you're gonna get rejected.
Right.
All right. Tell you what, as
So it
long as
does mean something.
where did you find that? What is the definition of several? I'll link it and then I'll feel good about it. Merriam-Webster.
Yeah,
There we go.
There you go.
you're gonna put several being
More than one.
defined inside.
At least several.
Follow
More
this
than
link
two.
to see the definition of several.
Several
More
pictures
than two,
there.
but not many.
What is the definition of several?
More than two, but
one,
not
more
many.
than two, but
No,
fewer
more
than
than
many.
two, but not many. And many
That's
means
perfect.
a large number of.
Jesus.
Okay.
We got to
We've
add
We're
these
gonna
really
figure
things.
this
clarified it
out.
now.
And then also one video and one social media.
Oh, come on. What? That's
Yes.
I definitely
Yes.
think
That's
the
too
social media
much.
100%. The video, I could go either way on.
Lancer,
content.
we're literally paying for promotion.
We're
Yeah.
paying
So they need to
for
that's the
promote
a,
whole
us.
a
point,
closer
right?
ecosystem. It's not like we're paying for marketing.
No, we
Like
are.
I got together with like a buddy from AEP the other day, and like we got beers and like hung out and like talked shit about Star Atlas and all kinds of other stuff. And guess what? There were no pictures of that event, and I didn't post them to social media. But also, I didn't ask for the DAO to pay my bar tab. It's, I think it's okay that this has a social media component to it if you're looking for your event to literally be paid for by
So,
Star Atlas players.
so
Well,
if
Food,
we
drink, aren't
I'm
let's
free.
break it
asking
down.
I'm
Let's break
asking
it down.
someone who's crafting like fuel and sage to pay for me getting beers with my friend. It's okay for the DAO to say, "All right, man, but you got to take some photos. You got to like make a thing of this. Like we want some promotion." That's totally fair.
Well, we're all in support of. We all got the photos thing figured out. So let's just break it down. Are we expecting a social media post? Put the video
Yes.
aside for now.
I
I
think
think
social
100%.
yes
media
for sure,
posts could work.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
Okay,
if
so social
nothing else,
media.
it should have social media presence just to even further verify the person who's hosting the event. That, oh,
That's
yeah, it's
literally
the
on the
social
beat.
media profile.
Yeah.
And so then the last thing is video. I am pretty neutral. I would prefer it, but I don't.
I
I'm
think
not
it's too much, man.
super stuck up on it.
I
I
think
think
the
with
video is the best way to corroborate that the thing is happening, and it
I
needs
think
to be. It cannot be edited. It needs to be a video that you can click on it, right click on it, and see the geolocation, when was shooted and where.
exactly.
Which is any regular video
No.
from a phone that if you don't edit it, boom.
How
Yep.
is that?
What about you, Signal?
How
Nope,
can you
hold on.
comply
Let
with something
Signal
like
vote.
that?
Signal, video or not, you're the deciding vote.
I don't give a shit about a video personally.
Fuck you. Come on. God damn it. Now we're stuck. 2 I don't cares, 1 no, and 2 yes.
I'm gonna say no
well, okay.
on the
So
video.
I personally
All right,
think
I said no.
if we're doing it like Drum described, where it's like, hey, it doesn't need to be edited. Just pull out your camera, walk through the event with the video record on, and put it on the social media. Like if it can be like that, that's fine.
The only
So
thing
3 to
I'd
It's
add to
so
it,
easy.
It's not
is
that
again,
easy.
as
No.
someone who did who did a meetup, like there were lots of moments that made sense to like take like a photo on, but a lot of them would have felt weird if it was a video. If it's like, okay,
Mm.
guys, I'll get together in front of the thing. I'm gonna record
Well,
it.
and
I
there's
don't know
another
what we're
thing
gonna.
too. There's another thing too is it's hard if there's somebody there that doesn't want to be doxxed. Like if it's a photo, you can obscure their face on a photo really easily. Like put an
Right.
emoji on it or something. Whereas the video, that is different. I'm still
Right.
Just do
yeah.
it. Okay, here. Just do a video of the receipt and a video of the
All right.
food and the
Thank you for
beers.
everything.
Not even a single
Yeah.
person.
Guys, now we
Like
want
a
3
video of
videos?
the venue.
But I
No,
will
just
say,
a
like,
video. Anything.
but if you look at like the photos from like my event, like not a single person there was doxxed. Like you'll recognize like one person there because they're a popular YouTube host. But like other than that, like I just didn't name what community members were actually at the event, and then nobody was doxxed. So you can look
Well,
at these people, you have no idea who I was hanging out with.
what does
I
the
know who
video
those
do that the
people are.
pictures don't exactly?
it's just more content that it's just something about like a short, making a YouTube
It's
short or
harder
a
to
whatever.
fake. It's just harder
Yeah.
to fake.
It
So
and
don't
and
worry about it being
just
faked.
make it a picture of the sign at the venue. That's a video. Like do a little short little pan of the name of the venue and be done with it. That's a video.
Videotape you with a picture of your pip in the
Sure,
bathroom.
that's fine. That's a video.
What?
We can make it so it's not required, but that a video will highly improve your chances of approval.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
I like that.
If a
Let's
Do you
video
like that?
is taken,
Yeah.
it will highly improve
Good job, John.
the acceptance.
And it's all just to
chance
say
acceptance.
that this is going to be graded off of how much it benefited the Star Atlas ecosystem. Okay, multiple people got together. There's some cool social media stuff about it. We talked about it at a brew, this and that. Meaning, how much was this truly something that feels like it was meant to empower the community, or Star Atlas, and how much of it was just you going and getting food and some beers?
Okay.
Correct.
Done. Let's keep
And
moving. I think we're all in agreement.
Cool.
I have one more
Oh, damn it,
request.
Joe.
I don't know if you guys are going to be happy with that, but I think it's necessary. And it's that the person creating the request should be a policyholder. In other words, approved in our DAO section.
I'd say no.
Don't they
So if
have
I-
to be
if I-
to create a PIP
if-
draft?
No.
Yeah, but
Well,
they
they
don't
don't
have
have
to
to
create
make
a
a
PIP
PIP
draft.
to apply.
No,
We're
no.
skipping the
It's
whole
a form.
governance section.
The eligibility already says any Star Atlas community member can apply.
Yeah. If
Okay.
anybody
Yeah.
could attend, then anybody should be able to apply, is my thinking. We wouldn't say
Okay.
that people can't attend the party if they're not polis holders.
Carlos, if it didn't
No,
already say
anyone
that
can
in
attend. Anyone can attend, but not anyone can ask for the funds. That would be the only difference.
the PIP
Hmm.
says anyone can ask for the funds in the community.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That was approved. That was voted on.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Otherwise, that might have been that might have been okay.
Because
Including-
my train of thought is that if I go to a bar with 5 of my best friends and I take a few pictures and a video and I request $500, and then 2 weeks later we go again and my other friend submits the PIP and get it approved. Now that we're asking for more pictures, it will be easier kind of to recognize. But if the bull run really hits and we can do 50, 60 events, we just got to make sure it's not exploited as, without making this a full-time job.
Okay, that's fair.
100%.
That's fair. All right. I feel good about that. The definition of several is my favorite. All right. I will,
Cool.
if I do not submit receipts of cost paid, I will not meet the criteria for being reimbursed. If I do not make at least one social media post with, finish that one, with the above pictures, I will not meet the criteria. Is that what we're going for?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And the last one is, if I estimated my cost to be $500 and less than $500 worth of people attend, I will be reimbursed for the amount of people attended.
I think just changing the wording to that so it's not in specific dollars.
Okay.
And I will be paid based upon the number of people that attended my event, or I will be paid upon the actual costs related to my event, not like estimated costs or something like that. Because what you're really just saying is, okay, yeah, you're playing this thing for 10 people, but only 5 showed up. We're only going to pay you, for 5 people.
Then I'll put X then. If I
Gotcha.
estimated my cost to be X and less than X worth of people attend, I will be reimbursed for the amount of people attended.
It
Perfect.
gets sticky because if you rent a venue and you pay $300 to rent a venue and 3 people show up, you still are in.
Yeah, you better
And for
remount.
$300.
You better remount your buddies.
Mhm.
That's something I agree. That's something I think we should monitor for, because I don't think it should be the position of our process to just shortchange people who try
Yeah.
and put together well thought out things that people just don't show up for.
That being said, I will
I
say,
mean,
just the nature of the $500 cap, almost nobody using this program is renting out venues, and would have like really pre-applied costs. There would be like making a reservation at a restaurant, and then you go, and the number of people that show up
Well,
and eat, where are
Well,
your
if
bills?
you're no, there's
Yeah.
restaurants. I'm in this industry adjacent. I'm part owner of a few of them still, but if somebody wants to have a party for 20 people, they're putting down a reservation fee for $250, and then you have to
Non-refundable.
spend $250 of on food and
I
drinks.
I think a party
Otherwise,
for
you don't
20
get
is
that.
outside this. A party for 20
Well,
is
that's what
outside the
I'm kind
scope.
of saying. Meaning, if you were having a party for 20 people, this program's not even. That's not even creating a scratch for you. Most likely. But
No, dude, you could have a party for 20 on $500 easy,
Yeah.
and it would be an amazing.
Very easy.
man,
We do that all the time at our restaurants.
I can
Yeah, a
blow
lot of these-
Anyway.
bucks
of
on
these
You can-
people
Web3
very
events,
easily.
those after
You can do a
parties.
full wedding. You can do a full wedding for that in some countries.
Yeah.
I need to move
That's
to
what I'm
those
saying.
countries.
There are many
Yeah.
conferences where $500 can get you over a dozen people comfortably.
I really do think we should just cap the thing at a value per person maximum. If
Nope,
it's under
I don't
that,
agree.
it's just, I don't know, okay.
Again, it varies so much from country to country. Signal is
Yeah.
you're just seeing it
But
from
I
the
didn't
United
say
States
minimum, I
perspective.
just said maximum. Like if
And-
you
and
said
if-
it to like a United States maximum, nobody should be above it in a
Even
different country.
within the United States, it's not the same doing an event in Kansas than doing it in California.
I guess.
Yeah, you're talking to at least two people that do events.
Yeah, my only experience is I buy food with money.
Dude, one of my
Yep, and
weddings
that's
was in Poland. I rented a full palace. We had food all night, entertainment stuff, breakfast the next day, buses to get the people back, and it was $10,000. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just saying it can't be more than $50 per person. You're against that. That's all I'm saying.
I
It's creating
am
a
right
cap
now.
per
Well, I
person.
mean, yeah, I can see what your point is, because I mean, I would never go to an event where it's gonna cost me and my wife $500. Like that, like I'll
Right.
go out to a place that's maybe $100 on a special occasion a piece. But yeah, like I think that's a reasonable thing, is to be like, yeah, we're not going to give more than some. I mean, if it's two people, we're not going to give them $500. Like you just
There should be
don't do
some
that.
ceiling per person, right?
All right,
I
we
mean,
have
saying
2
there
you're,
should
minutes.
be
you're not
no
wrong.
ceiling at all per person is kind of crazy.
We have 2
Like,
minutes.
two people go to a thing and apply for $500. Like
And we reject it.
well,
We reject
exactly,
it.
but
It's
we're
that
not
easy.
okay. Four
We
people
we can
go
have
and
that.
want $500.
We can have that. We can have that pre-written. What that threshold is. That we're just going to reject
Right.
it no matter what anyway.
I'm
Like
only
we're going to
saying we
reject
should
two
come up
people
with
getting
something.
$500.
Yeah, because if it's the DAO's money, if it's players paying for you to go out, there should be some sense of fiscal responsibility and respect for the players that are paying your
I don't
bartender.
disagree. I don't disagree with you. I just think that it's gonna open a Pandora's box of what if and what if and what if I do this and why didn't I? And I think
feel you.
we can just do case by case and use common sense and talk with them and see if we know them or if they are a total stranger. They're gonna put the Discord name. We can do a search in the Star Atlas and see if they are actually active. There's so many things that
we could just
if
have
we
a
start
line that
listing
says
if we start listing all the reasons to reject one, we're gonna spend a lot of time doing this.
then let's
Speaking of
just
which,
I
we
make
need
a
to
think
cut
I
this
line
think
off.
that
an easy
says
line is 100
We got
a
to cut
person.
off.
I mean,
We got to cut this off. We're at the
No, I'm
hour
gonna
mark.
extend. We're gonna extend the meeting 15 minutes. Sorry, guys.
Let's
There's no.
blend into office.
Yeah, there's nobody on the line to discuss any pips or pip ideas or anything. So I'm comfortable extending it a little bit here. These are good conversations, and I don't want to kick any cans down the road if we can avoid it. So do you guys agree? Is
I'm
anyone in
good.
the audience
I don't think
really,
the
really
audience is going to
wanting?
fill an hour.
I
Yeah,
second.
I don't think so either. So I say we just keep going for at least another 15 minutes.
If
I
If
think
somebody
if
in the
we're gonna-
audience
wait,
really,
we'll do it this
hold
way.
on. If anyone in the audience really takes exception to it, please let us know.
Yeah, put it in the chat if you have a topic you would like to cover. And we will continue on with our conversation now. pending anyone else who would like to speak up in the chat.
No, we're gonna keep going.
Can I make one
So-
clarifying statement
Yeah.
after hearing other people's responses? So I agree with Drum talking about flexibility of council and stuff like that. In that case, all I would do is I just change that line entirely to just say any or all payout will be at the sole discretion of Star Atlas DAO Council. And that makes it very clear then that you're not guaranteed the amount that you're going to get. You're not going to guaranteed it, like what the qualifiers and conditions are. And you're just trusting, if you're participating in this program, that the council can make a judgment call that will be correct for how it responds to things. And then you intentionally put the ambiguity in there. But if you do it, then that should be the line.
I'm
I'm
okay
fine
with
making it
$100 per
vague.
person line because there's no country in the world where you can't keep it under $100 a person.
Shank, yeah.
Like that's even kind of ridiculously high in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I think Signal was saying no more than 50 per person.
I'm a pretty
Yeah,
extravagant
50.
guy, and meaning
I'm
50
I'm
seems
okay with that
reasonable to
too.
me.
Yeah, because it's
But
not
if
a
we're
deal.
trying
it
to
is.
if we're trying to avoid like complications like they might live in an area where that's really hard, like nobody's gonna have an issue with keeping it under $100. Like at some point we can just make it. There's an easy line at some point,
I can go to
somewhere
like a
between 50
nice,
and 100 is.
I can go to like a nice like chop house in like the U.S. and stuff like that, hosting people for like $50 a person.
Yeah.
I think saying that that's a ceiling shouldn't be that crazy of a thing.
We can go with
But either way,
$15
if we're
on
not
something.
going to have a ceiling at all, then we should just write a line that says all of this is at the sole discretion of council, and people just have to accept that as part of the program.
I think we can do something easier, which is to put the minimum amount of people that needs to be in the meetup. 5 people. Boom. Then you're doing the cap kind of, but you still leave the door open and you are making sure that it's not going to be 3 people in a corner, because if you cannot organize, if you don't know the people in your area, if you don't know if you
Right.
can't pull this off, you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Wow,
I like
man,
that. 5
y'all
people
are
minimum.
Man, I think we're just making it way harder on people to ask to participate in this program.
Dude,
Yes.
we're just
Well,
telling them,
well,
you just got to take some pictures and make sure it's not just you, it's at least 5 people.
Well,
Yeah, we're not.
it should be because that's the whole reason for this whole purpose or process is so that people can't just get $500 and then 2 weeks later get another $500 for just for nothing basically.
Hanging
There
out
has
with
to
other
be a
people,
bar.
yeah.
But you're putting so
Yeah.
many bars in there that you're making it unbarable.
Which one
if
works?
you want $500, you're gonna meet the bar.
No,
But which
Yeah,
this
one
is
fine.
worries
supposed to be
you,
like
Signal?
SEC level
Answer.
certification. This is supposed to be a socialized event to help grow the ecosystem that is very low threat to the budget. 10,000.
And it still is. But what
Right.
is the one that you find it would limit you if you were organizing an event?
Well, right now what we have is great, but you start putting in more like per person, and then you got to have a video. It's got to be geolocated, like all this extra stuff that is just too much. Too
Well,
much.
then don't do the event.
You got to post
Guys,
a video
we don't.
naked
It's not our
with Star
role
Atlas
to
written all over
make
your
this
body.
unable to be participated in.
You need
Well,
to get
as
a
of now,
Atlas
we
too.
only
The
as of now we
entire
only have a
event has
picture
to
and a
be
social media
gluten-free.
post. There's really only two qualifications. They need the receipt, picture of the event, or a couple pictures, and a social media post. So the bar
Right.
is very easy as of now.
Yep.
But I mean, I do think having some sort of, like we should clearly have. We're never going to approve 2 people getting $500. So I don't see why we can't figure out some sort of,
I agree.
Well, we
doing
haven't
something
I can't hear you say that we
preemptively.
can't put a ceiling on the value per person that the DAO's going to pay for.
Yeah, I think I think
It's
we
easier
should.
just to put a minimum cap on the event.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
yeah,
so.
you are right. Because if you do a 3 people event, you can ask for $150.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't see how that will benefit and how that does align with the ecosystem. I think that's just an excuse to get free beer.
Mhm.
Well, you should
Let's
have
just
both
keep.
then. An event needs a minimum of 5 people, and the payout at maximum is $50 per person.
We can just kind of go from here, wing it a little bit, and if it gets abused, if we have that statement in there that the council has that sucks though.
So that was the approach we took very often on the first term. That is, don't solve problems that you don't have yet.
To an extent, yes.
I'm in support of that because, yeah, unless
We
20
definitely
people apply.
We'll see.
All right.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. That was just
Who's eating
question 3,
chips? Is
by the
that
way.
Drum? Yeah.
Lorenzo, this was awesome, brother.
No, keep
Thank
going.
you.
So, yeah, no problem. So, question one of the new requests was describe, give us a name. 2 was confirm that you've read and understand the expectations when you have the event. 3 is give
Go
us your
back to
Discord.
go back to the name real quick. Can somebody mute whoever's unmuted? Does anyone at a computer?
Yeah, it was
All right,
it was Bodie. I'm sure it was just accidental. I'll unmute him in 2 seconds.
Okay. Where's the name? Keep scrolling real quick.
This is the name.
The name. Oh, I'm sorry. The name of the event. Sorry. You might not have got to it yet. Sorry. Just keep going.
Your Discord name.
Username. Yep.
Event name.
Event name. Yeah. Just make them have an event name. If they're creating it, they have to remember the event name.
At least the city, right?
Something, anything. Call it Emperor's Meetup, for crying out loud. If you don't know the name of the event you're doing and you're applying for, come on, man.
I know Signal is proposing one in Philadelphia.
Philly Meetup. I mean, easy. I don't like leaving it open saying if you don't remember the name. To me, if you can't remember the name so you can get $500 to do an event.
I don't think it's a very high threat issue to us. So
Then
what
delete
if
it.
they don't remember the name?
Then delete it.
Delete what?
Just delete that first line.
The
Just put
Discord.
example GameCon 20. It just gives people an excuse to be lazy.
I guess.
Maybe I'm being a little.
I don't think it makes a difference
If
to
you're
us.
asking, well then, perfect. Just
I
like
think
it
just
is. Works
giving
for
it a
me.
name. I think just giving it a name so we can reference it internally and back to them. Like, oh yeah, mine was the Philly Meetup. Okay, that should
Right.
be super easy for us to find on the list. All right,
agree.
Philly
Exactly.
Meetup.
Yep.
Okay. Then give us event
I
details.
think that's the only reason it's valuable is it's a shorthand way of referencing it.
Then give us
So
the
the
location.
event. Now go back up to event. They need. I don't know if we need more specifics on here, like to spell out some, like, i.e., your plan and any specifics, i.e., how many people, what's the venue, what's going to be served, are you going to do reservations, like make it a little more idiot proof, if you will.
I think
Like
it is.
spell out a.
The second question is give us where it's going to be. Tell us how many people are going to be there. Tell us how much you're asking for. I don't think we want to
Okay.
know if they're serving lobster, do we?
Yeah, I mean, if they're serving lobster, I want to know. I might be flying out there.
It's gonna be cheap lobster.
Yeah, I don't necessarily
we-
want to know what the menu is.
Right. I guess you have some more details down below. Maybe it's just a little unclear since they
We're
are
gonna
down
have the
below.
receipts.
Right. So
Okay.
Emperor, what are we missing from
If
the
I'm
details?
overthinking it, I don't know.
So if we got location, we have the number of people. What else in the details do you think they need to
You're
give
probably
us?
right.
Question: when you were devising this form, were you thinking of people filling it before the event or after, or before and after? Because that
This is
makes a
before.
difference. Because we're only
Definitely
paying
before.
after. They do need to submit receipts. So are we asking them to submit the form twice, once for the new event and then to input their proof and receipts?
Yeah, from what I read of the PIP, they have to get approval first before they actually hold the event, right?
Pre-approval, and then
I think they have to
final-
submit the form, host the event. Like submitting the form puts it on our radar that an event is seeking, approval. But then they have to host the event and submit expenses for figuring out what the payout is. We can designate it as an approved event, under qualifiers in advance, but the payout would have to be decided after the event occurred.
Yeah, the payout's definitely after the event occurred. That's no question. What Carlos is asking is something I had already assumed. They have to submit this form before they have the event, right? If they that's my understanding of what the PIP says. Does anyone
Right.
disagree with that?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay, so there's no instance where someone's going to have an event, submit this form, and we've never seen it before. At the same time, they submit the receipt saying, "I want $500 or whatever." Right?
I mean, they could, but they wouldn't get paid.
Sure.
Well, right. We're saying we wouldn't honor that.
Yeah.
We want you to submit it before you ever host the event so we can analyze the suitability of the event itself. Then we
Okay.
can give support, to it. But it's any financial accounting will happen after the event.
Yeah. Okay. So we have to have this pre-approved on the books. Then they have the event. Then they submit everything in the documentation part of the form. All right. So if that's all true, then we're good with the way the form looks right now.
Also, just on the subjects of payments and all this other stuff here, Swagner just posted in the council chat that the multi-sig for the Gamescom event has been initiated. So that'll be ready shortly.
Right on. Cool.
While you're on that one right there, if you type $, like 250, it says it's wrong. Can you just put $sign before it? It's a really small thing. Your estimated
I have a response validation
dollars
on it. So let's take a look at what I did. Oops.
Yeah, because if
I
you
just
put a
overwrote it.
$sign, it doesn't work. Oh, can you change the number to cash or
Yeah, the number. If it's a number, then you can't put any symbols before it.
right? I didn't
So
know
I
if you could
put
put
in
a $sign
USDC.
on your own.
So if they put
Yeah,
500, they
it's-
have to put 500, and they
But if
can't
they
put
put-
$500.
Yeah, if they put a $sign, it doesn't work. It was just a
Right.
small, tiny thing, just a housekeeping thing. So if we can't fix it, that's fine. I figured it out.
We could. I can remove it, but what I'm saying is I didn't
No.
want them to put $500 in text. I want them to put $500 in an amount, because then on the sheet itself, you can do Excel formulas that you need to do stuff.
We need to stop. So what?
But yeah,
This
it's
is-
yeah.
We can get that up
It
on
was
screen.
just a housekeeping thing. It's no big deal. So
Okay. Greater than 0. All right.
so to say.
Then provide your Solana wallet. If you don't know how, we have a link there to the Solana wallets. And then the thank you image. All right. Then the second part of the form is, once you are done with the event, you can click at the top those 2 questions, submit a new request, submit documentation. If you select submit documentation, it will push you over to this, where you first thing you do is confirm. I need to copy paste this, actually. This is just a duplicate. To reiterate what it is that we required the first time around. So now it will say the stuff. All right, that's what we already talked about. So confirm what you confirmed the first time. Put in your Discord name, put in the event name. You guys don't remember. And then please confirm the following. This is where I wanted to get like a sanity check early on. If it went swimmingly, as in what we expected to see is what we're gonna get, then first one. If something went different, like less people showed up or whatever, then they click that. And if it was canceled or it wasn't held at all, then we know we're not going to reimburse anything. They click that.
Like it.
And if they're different, then we give them a chance to explain what was different. Then they add a
Yep.
file.
Awesome.
So here, there's a folder already built for it. It's all automated by Google. When they add a file, they add the pictures, they add the videos. If they do add video, that's probably going to be a problem because the maximum file size can go more than 10 megabytes, but this is a Google Drive, and it's not. It's there's a max
Yeah,
amount
it's
that we
just
can have.
some receipts and some pictures. Oh well, and a video. So yeah,
Okay.
the video
But
can
10
be tricky with
10
that cap.
megabytes for a video is going to be very tricky. I can push 100, but I don't want our Google Drive filling up with stuff that we don't need on that.
We can always move it to somewhere else. We can compress it. We could throw it somewhere else if we start filling up.
All right, I'll bump it up to 100 then. And the
Okay.
max number of files needs to be more than 10. Oh, it is maximum of 10. Ooh. So someone who has like
Well, there
20
you go.
pictures.
They just send the good ones.
Yeah, okay.
Several.
All right, and that's it. That's the end of the form. All right, so
Sweet.
I'll show you all the preview version of it. When you go through, input your email, say I confirm that I'm going to do all these things. I want to submit something new. Oh, that didn't work. That was wrong. Submit something new. There it is. Please confirm what we just talked about. Okay, I got it. It needs to be several pictures. I don't know what
Hey,
several
Donovan.
means.
Donovan has a very good point that for social media and videos, we can ask for the link to the social media.
Oh, true. That's totally true.
So you could add a segment there to include links, you know, and that will decrease the requirement of weight of a size.
Of waste of size.
That's totally true. All right, so I'll add a question here.
Okay, okay. Sorry, my mic is open.
Yeah. So I'll add a question to say, please provide the link to your social media post. I'll make it a short answer so they can just copy paste the link. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Let's go back into the preview. I confirm blah 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 at blah blah.com. I want to submit a new request. And the event name is going to be Totally Cool Event for Star Atlas worth $1 million.
Where's
Event
your
dates.
acronyms, man? Come on.
Oh, that's true. They just describe the event. They're allowed to insert more stuff if they need to. That's applicable. Location is going to be NFC Lisbon. We're going to have 20 people because. And the max we're going to go for is $500. Solana wallet, put it in the Solana wallet. And then thank you. Why can't I hit submit? It's in preview mode. Right. Okay. So I would be able to hit submit at that point.
I think
If
it
I want
looks
to do
good.
submit documentation, click next, confirm the same thing, and put your name. Remember your event name, otherwise Emperor is going to deny your request, apparently. And then either complete as described, details have changed, and was not held or canceled. If it's changed, put in not enough people showed. I'm so sorry to disappoint you signal. And then put in your x.com post or whatever. Add your files. It'll submit in the folder, hit submit, and they're done. Savvy?
Sweet.
Well,
Bobby. Is this ready to go, do we
It's
think,
live
or do we
right
need to
now.
run it by the community first?
It's live right now.
Yeah, do we need to run it by the community first?
By the community?
I think
I'm
we're
just
okay.
asking the question.
As in the
I want us
Starless
all to be
community?
on the same
Feedback?
page.
Oh, you mean if
And
they
just
have any feedback for us? That's not a bad idea.
uh-huh. I don't want to necessarily. Don't tell Bohemian, but
I
do
don't
we
think
need to
there's
run
any
it by
requirement for us
anybody?
to. I think we're good. I vote we just open it up now.
Drum?
Yeah, I think we should open it up, but we should always be open to feedback. Because we, like we said at the beginning of the
You're
thing, we
talking
can
about
change
releasing the
stuff.
form now?
Yes.
Yes.
No, we need to make sure Automata approves it. Remember that Michael didn't want us, and we
Oh.
created this to show him and get approval. We cannot go with this yet until Automata give us the seal of approval.
Well, that gives people time to give us some feedback in the meantime too. So
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So then we post it to DAO chat while Automata gives it a thumbs up.
Sounds good.
Do we need to put a disclaimer on there? Because if
You need to
people
put a
think it's live,
disclaimer. You need to put a disclaimer in the form as well. You need to make sure nobody misunderstands because he's going to create drama. Brian
It
can
will.
kick off.
Oh.
Automata can kick off. I would wait. I don't understand what's the rush.
There's no rush. Just I didn't know that we needed the approval.
Yeah, last time we talked with Michael, first time we talked with Michael, he pretty much said no, and then we kind of convinced him, and we told him we were going to do all this stuff and show him. Now Dan is back; he can approve this, or we can go through Michael again. But yeah, I think they are not going to create the multi-sig wallet until we have the multi-sig wallet. We don't have PIP 11.
They created it. Swags put it in that
Okay.
council chat.
Okay.
Well, we'll have a meeting with them, I think next week. Yeah, so we'll be able to figure it out by then.
We can hopefully get it before then. We'll just send it to Dan and Swags and see what they think, and if they give us the blessing, then we'll put it up right away.
Cool.
Does that work?
Okay. Sounds good.
Signal, are you there? You good?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm doing all right. Yeah,
You're fine with that?
just, yeah. I hear
Okay.
Lanzer die a little inside.
I do.
Every time we finish a conversation, and then we're gonna check in with the team. But that's the process. And dude, you really did a great job with this.
Yeah.
And I want to give public props to it too. Like, we're reviewing this stuff right here. Like, Lanzer, like, soup to nuts, made this form, set this up for us. Like, he was literally just tasked with it on like a random Tuesday night and made it happen practically immediately. Thank you, brother.
Yep. It was wonderful. Yes. Thanks, man.
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah, I think it was brilliant, and I was happy with the way it was even earlier.
Right on.
Yeah, before
Thanks.
we fucked it all up, it was good too then.
Well, I'm telling you guys, I've been on the receiving end of not doing it properly in the first place, and it's not the prettiest. So even though you guys might feel like we wasted time, we solved a whole
Not at
bunch of
all.
problems. We solved a whole bunch of problems before they became problems, and it was worth our time. So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the low
hanging
hanging fruit out for sure.
yeah.
So added.
So is everyone okay if we push the rest of this until next week? Because we're 23 minutes over
100%.
time.
Yeah.
I'm down. I could go. I only have one thing I wanted to discuss, but it can wait.
And we could probably ask your question to Dan or Swags or Santi. Maybe they have I don't know.
Remember the first one of these when we said, like, what would happen if we had nothing to talk about 1 week? Like, if anything, we wound up like time crunched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time this comes up.
And this is meeting once a week, man. Usually things like this happen once a month.
Right.
Hey, we set the bar for ourselves, and you grow to what's expected. We're doing it. So we revised form language and adjusted reimbursement requirements. All right, and we didn't yet get into mission statement. Are we going to close it off here in 6 minutes at the 30 mark to go to hit office hours?
Yeah.
All right. So then
Let's
I'll
call
push
it
this
closed
for.
off at 4:26.
All right.
We'll open it up to the audience.
Good signal. That was brilliant.
All right.
Wow.
So I'll push all the rest of this to next week then. the DAO Treasury airdrop, SAC2 mission statement, flowchart, council member scope responsibility, and tools. So I'll just copy it over for next
Good.
week.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right.
I really
Hi,
hope
guys.
I get to hear an audience member today. We've got Jiff in here, man. He better have something to say.
Well, I'm
I
actually gonna have to hop
thought somebody
off.
said they. Okay,
Oh,
no
are
big
you?
deal. I
Okay.
thought, didn't Bohemian say he was gonna be in here full force today?
He didn't even show up.
He
Yeah,
sent
I
Andromeda.
know.
he said Andromeda.
Hey, Bodhi said he's got to go. See you, Bodhi.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we are now going to close the meeting minutes and open up office hours. So a reminder to anyone, if you are a PIP draft or a PIP author that is currently in draft, we give you priority first if you want to talk about your PIP. Then after that, we open up to anyone for general Q&A, and after that, or whatever discussions follow from there. Please go ahead and unmute and start typing in chat. Now's your chance. Now's your time.
Yeah, if you don't feel like talking on voice, just keep typing in chat. I think the only two PIP authors are me and Signal again.
True. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, when are we getting a documentary in Dowcasters?
Yes.
Somebody has to make it, right?
See.
See. Yeah, I think
Oh,
both of those at this point are literally just going through markdown and getting ready to be put out. I'd wager this time next week both are probably live. Does
I
that
just
sound
need
right,
to,
guys?
I just need to do a quick check on the form, making sure it has all the points of the structure, and that's it. I think he was missing like maybe one or two little things, but I to be honest, I haven't had time. But I will go over that before next week.
Perfect.
are we talking about on the forums? Did I do the
We're
markdown for that
talking
already?
about Dowcasters and the documentary PIP.
Yeah, the documentary. I know the PIP is kind of ready to go. It's just I just gotta make sure it's not missing a stupid little thing from the list of formatting things, and that's it.
Oh, I see.
I know
Okay, yeah. So I did
Raspy's
the
already
markdown.
working on a trailer for it.
I did the markdown.
Sweet.
It's just
I
over
see you,
to
Shadow
I
King.
sent him.
to
I
Carlos.
sent him the soundtracks of all the posters and stuff like that.
Nice.
Oh, I see. I see now what you're posting about, Carlos, in the writing.
Oh yeah.
So that's why you compacted it all together, because it keeps it more tight.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I
To
think I
be
can probably
honest, it
start doing
doesn't
that.
matter. I think what's important that we keep kind of consistency, and it's not one with big space, one with small. So if you, for example, you are doing the markdowns now, if you want to do it with the space, just do them all the same way.
Got it.
It looks
Yeah,
nicer. That's
I
all.
guess I forgot that it was going to do that. It was just going to make it longer. I do like what you put in writing system, so I'll probably start doing that instead. I think. I just don't like that the coding, the back end, just I always syntaxed it with extra spacing to parse it out better in my brain.
I
But
see.
I see on the front end, it makes it look like it's super long, really spacey.
Yes, and on the phone interface also, it's nicer the more stuff you can get in one screen.
Yeah. See that's that old school
Hey,
HTML right there.
There.
Andromeda, I know you're muted and you've just been typing in chat. I see you're also in the other chat. And if you hear us, maybe type in this one. Yeah, it's more complicated if one of the council members helps you write a PIP idea, let alone a PIP draft. But do you think somebody from AFIA or the racing thing can help you out? I'm not even sure if you're listening or not, but I personally, as a council member, think that would be great. You know, he's chatting in chat over there in DAO chat that it's difficult, and he's not the only one that runs into this. So maybe I don't know if some of the council members or any of the audience have any feedback. Like I know one of the things Bohemian. Oh yeah, he's typing in DAO chat. One of the things Bohemian was wanting to do is more
Oh, let me read the chat. What's going on?
Yeah. It's in DAO chat.
Oh,
Not
it's
in
in
the
DAO
voice
chat.
chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's
think,
happening?
He's trying he has an idea, and I think it's a great idea. I think Signal, you think it's a great idea. I think all of us would. He just needs some help writing the idea and the draft out. The idea first, and
He wants
Yeah,
to
I
create a
offered to help
tournament
him with that.
website where everyone can create a wallet. Okay. So he's got other pip ideas, and he's asking.
yeah, he's
asking
just
for
asking
help
for
to
help
develop
writing
it.
it.
I see.
Well,
Yeah.
he just bumped into Brian, so good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to help rescue him a little bit here.
No, but to be honest, Brian has a point too, which I was trying to say earlier. If you don't have to read a pip, but if you want to read a pip, just write the pip. And if you're not good writing, use the help of AI. And if you don't know how to do it, just ask help from people in your guild or your community or whatever. But
Yeah,
we
I'm
should
rolling.
be
And it's
doing
not
the
that
work for them, because if they are not able to write a proposal, how are they going to implement it? How are they going to follow up? How are they going to talk with the people? How are they going to arrange all the financials of it? It's just that's the easiest part. Like I agree with Brian 100% on what he's saying.
I guess it depends on the pip, because like if we compare this to, since we're naming Brian, if we compare this to like Iris Bounty, Iris Bounty, now that it is passed, there is zero responsibility on Brian to implement anything. There's just an idea and something to be implemented by council. So I'd at least just throw out there that there are pips that could be written where the person actually doesn't have to do all this crazy back end implementation after the fact, and maybe they're not getting any money from it either. Maybe it's just a cool idea. And in
Yeah,
that
what's to
sense, I'm
organize
a
the tournament?
defender of like, if you've got a really cool idea, like I'd like to see it happen, regardless of what like your writing skills are, etc. Like if
But
you've
that's
got a
what
cool enough idea, like I'll figure out how to get it up there.
I feel sympathetic to what
So
Andromeda is saying. There's a whole industry out there for proposal writing, and it's there because writing proposals to obtain money, which means building out a plan, is technically challenging. You might be really good at putting parties together and organizing events, but not so great at the back end office work of it. I mean that's normal. That shouldn't be a controversial thing for people to understand. I don't think it's
SGWT should start it as a service. Well,
that
we
is
will
one of the
also
side
help you
effects of
write your
this.
pip
Yes,
for like $10.
that's one. Ironically enough, I do have something like that going on outside of Star Atlas. I haven't touched it yet because I didn't want there to be any complications. But that's a whole career field, and there are people who specialize in building these things because it can be challenging to bridge together the paperwork requirements of the organization with the money and the intent and capabilities and the solution of the person on the pointy end doing the thing. That's
True,
not,
they could be different skill sets.
they're very different skill sets. That's why my career field exists, because they're so different. So I don't
Yeah,
think it's
I mean,
they're
so
like
straightforward.
a lot of people are like excited about like the things that like Lord Raspy's trying to do, but at the same time, I would agree, like loving him and also having interacted with him, like if I wasn't helping structure, and like build out that proposal, I
Yeah.
think it's just a different skill set,
Yep.
than what he has. He
And you
can make
have that.
something cool and entertaining in a video. Him trying to lay out like a formal pip and how all these different actions would work. It goes into his weak areas.
Yeah. You've got
Yeah.
that like
now,
insane creative genius who's just really good at that stuff, but then on the back end, for me, I love it. I
Yeah.
love being the business end of this, like writing proposals. But I'm a nerd for that stuff.
Right.
So
I think that's why we're all here, because we actually enjoy that part of it.
So that's an interesting conversation
I
going
think
on there.
yeah, I know you're reading and typing under Andromeda. It to get to pip draft, it does have to be an idea first. And if you look at mine, I made mine pretty simple. It's just an idea. Hey, I want to do a prize pool for the racing league. I mean, that's really, really simple, but it does have to get 25 thumbs up and a bunch of people ask questions. So it's not like you have to do a little bit of work to at least get it to that next stage, you know? So a PIP idea, you need 25 thumbs up. And so that's where the conversation starts. So you don't even have to write the hard like draft and all of that stuff. It just starts with an idea. And I might suggest at least starting a PIP idea, and then there's no format, there's no anything really. You just start it, and then people can ask questions, and then people can jump in if they want and help you, figure out details. They can help you write the draft. They can, that's a really, really good spot to get started. So that would be my suggestion. Signal, what are you putting in the chat?
I just got bored.
Sucks.
So,
Oh
and
my
remind me
gosh.
again, after the 25 emojis are held or got received and the ideas, does the member post it in the draft or
Yes.
do we?
They
They
do.
do.
One of the reasons for that is that something doesn't necessarily have to meet all of the requirements of a fully structured proposal to be approved as an idea. There are
Yep.
numerous times where ideas get approved and they're not yet fully in the language of what a PIP would be. So they can't just copy paste from one to the other. It'll be on the other person to put something up that they think is officially a formal draft now.
I see. Okay, so we allow the PIP ideas to kind of just be like people's kitchen, and in the back
Yep.
kitchen
Yes.
doing whatever, and then out there in the real deal, PIP draft is where we start grading for score.
Right.
That's
Like
when it
my
gets
idea for
difficult.
Dowcasters didn't meet the requirements of an official formal draft. Once it got approved as an idea, I then had to tweak a bunch of things to make it a formal draft.
Got it.
Yeah. I think,
Okay.
yeah, it seems like you're getting it, Andromeda. Yeah, just make it as an idea first and have the conversation. Yeah, excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, I definitely think you'll be able to get a bunch of help once it's actually in the idea, the idea portion. So
What then
cool,
happens
good
after
deal.
it goes to PIP draft? What is the trigger for what happens next?
So it goes to an idea, then it goes to a draft. They submit the actual draft. We help them go back and forth a few times if formatting is wrong, if they're missing something. After it's went back and forth a time or two with a little bit of feedback, then when they're done and they officially think it's ready, then we give it a final once over, and then we send it to the foundation company. And Drum can correct me if I'm wrong in that, but
I missed it.
well, son of a bitch. It goes
Because
from
I was,
idea to draft.
yeah,
Once it's in draft, we give them feedback a time or two or
correct.
three. They fix it. Then when they feel it's all ready to go, then we send it to I almost said title company, the
Foundation.
the foundation, and then it gets approved or not, right?
Yeah, correct. The idea is on them, and the idea is mostly to test if the idea is popular, to find collaboration with other people from the community. And then once you get the enough likes, you are able, you don't have to, but you are able to do the draft. And that's when we give the feedback and help. Basically, from that moment on, we just take him by the hand and help them get into voting stage.
Wait, you don't have to
Yep.
go to draft?
No, once they
That's what he
submit the
was just
draft,
saying.
it's when we give the feedback, and we pretty much from that point on grab them by the hand and help them achieve voting stage.
Do we give them feedback before or after they say in draft that it's ready for us?
So in idea,
Um,
I sometimes comment as a policy holder,
I meant
if I
draft.
like it or what I liked, but as a council, we really start the evaluation with a draft.
I meant in the draft, Carlos. Does the council give its feedback to a draft PIP automatically, or do they have to ask for it?
No, we need to give
Automatically.
always, yeah. Every draft that gets presented, we need to give feedback and tell them like, hey, this is ready for voting, or hey, you're missing this, or you can improve that part.
Once it
Okay.
has that status, it's all of a sudden, like
Then
an
it's real.
obligation and part of our scope to try to figure out how to pass it along.
Okay, so then council will give feedback to on PIP to member. All right, and then
Yeah.
how do they know? When does the PIP go from? How do
Once
we
we
know to
approve
do
it, it
markdown?
goes to the foundation. We
No,
approve
no.
it. We are the ones that say, okay, this PIP is ready to be evaluated now by the team.
And that's
Tend to get it cleaned up before that.
Yeah, that's the rubric that Drum made. That, like, I think last time 3 or 4 of us went over it. You went over some of them.
This one.
So that's when it officially can go to the foundation company.
Yeah, the moment you have
when do I
something that's in
know?
formal draft state, our full-time job becomes not judging it for idea anymore. It's just, how can we help you structure this so that when we hand it to the foundation, it's something that could be acted upon?
Yep.
When do I know to do markdown?
As soon as it's
After.
Everything's been approved in the draft stage. We've all agreed on modifications. The author has made those modifications. Everything's been done that we said should be done for it to be ready to be submitted to the foundation.
Once we get once we approve it, once we say in the council, okay, this is ready, then we do the transcript, save it in PDF to send Glenn that PDF copy so he can review his side. And then once he approves, we send the markdown to the kitchen to have the developers implement it.
Okay. So then so at step 3, member is then allowed to post PIP and PIP draft channel after receiving 25 votes. Step 4, council will give feedback on PIP to member. Step 5, member informs council when it is ready for decision.
The other way around. Council
So
informs
we
member.
just decide when the PIP's ready?
Yeah.
Really? So the member didn't say, hey, I think this PIP is ready to go? Just as soon as they put it in there, we're
The
just going
moment
to...
they submit the draft,
give us-
they're saying they think it's ready to go.
Correct. The draft should be the final
Oh.
draft, ideally. But if it's not, we don't approve it yet. We give them feedback based on what they sent until we find that, okay, now it complies with all the requirements. Okay, now we approve it as a council and we're going to send it to the foundation.
So the community
But the
input
moment
is
you
during
put
the
it on
idea
that
stage.
draft page, the moment you put it on that draft page, you're saying, I am prepared for this exactly as written to be submitted for voting and action.
Oh, okay. So then step 1, member posts PIP and PIP ideas channel and receives community feedback. Step 2, if receives 25 thumbs up emojis. Step 3, member is allowed to post PIP and PIP draft channel. So really finished PIP.
That's
Yes.
it on them. They just get the scrubbing process back and forth with us as we try to get it ready for something that we can submit to the foundation.
Okay, so then that will start the clock on us. We give feedback to make it ready for routing because we know they're going to expect when it hits Automata. Then the member is not going to inform them of us of anything. The council will then decide when the PIP is ready for routing to Automata and the foundation. Yes?
Correct.
Yes.
All right.
So
All right, I
basically,
think it's clear
we
now.
give feedback until we approve.
Okay. And then 6, council engages in I don't know, rounds of feedback between Automata, Foundation, PIP author until ready for vote. Is there a better way to say all that?
That part, Automata sends it to
It
the
all
foundation.
happens before we reach step 5.
Say that again.
Before the council determines that something's ready to go, that step has happened. Meaning we're going back and forth with us, the foundation, the team, figuring out that this can be actioned or implemented. It only triggers a second round of conversation if the PIP passes, and now we're trying to figure out how to implement it within our constraints.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
It's starting to. So then when it is in PIP draft, the council will both give feedback to the PIP member while it liaises with Automata and the foundation so that it can be ready.
Yes.
It's pretty much all on us, though.
Yes, but we sometimes we go to if it's a clear ecosystem fund is easy, so it's pretty much all on us. But sometimes we just a PIP a draft is introduced and we don't know if we can or not, and we need to consult with them.
Because we don't want to submit something to final vote if it does have a clear conflict with the foundation or automata. We would love to have that information before something's live, where like Iris Bounty being a great example, something passed, and then we got feedback, from foundation and team going, well, here's what we would need to do for it. We'd ideally want that feedback before something goes to a live vote, not after.
Yeah, like we got it after with the working groups, and we got it after with the Iris Bounty. And now we're
Right.
dealing with that after, when it would have been ideal to give that feedback to the author and have all that explained in the PIP already.
Exactly.
So we actually start a process from the idea stage when we mark it actionable or non-actionable, and that's where we those that we are we're not sure or are inactionable, we still take it to Dan and we ask him, hey, they are asking for this. Is this something that you guys are contemplating? Or if you cannot do it now, do you think you're going to be able to do it in the future? And we try to get as much feedback as possible to come back to the community, because none of these decisions are made by us. That's all the foundation and automata.
Okay. Step 1, member will post a PIP in the PIP ideas channel and receive community feedback. Step 2, if PIP idea receives 25 thumbs up emojis, then step 3, member is then allowed to post finished PIP in PIP draft. Step 4, council will give feedback on PIP to member. Step 5, council engages automata and foundation on PIP viability. Yes? Good so far?
Yeah, it's not as singular step as the mark as that, but I think that works for the flow chart.
Okay. So it's
We
probably
have
happening
been
more in parallel with each
operating,
other.
but it is how we should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe if I did it more like this, to where it shows it's all happening kind of at the same time. When that happens, we are both engaging with the Thompson Foundation and giving feedback to the member all at the same
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
got it.
that's accurate.
Got
Yeah.
it. All right, then
In
step
an ideal
6.
world, we've gotten buy-in from the foundation and team before something goes to a live vote. So we know that
Sure.
everything that's up there will work the way that it's written.
Okay. Then once we've engaged on that and yes, the PIP is viable, then the council will create a markdown version of the PIP and forward that to Automata and the Foundation for review.
Correct.
Okay, and then step 7, then just goes to vote, right?
Yeah, if approved, the council will send it to the developing team to post on the governance
PIP
page.
will be posted on govern.staratlas.com for 14-day voting.
Correct.
And then PIP voting closes. And I'm going to have to expand this chart. So if rejected, was there a wait period? Like they can't submit the same PIP for 30 days or something?
We haven't
No,
yet
that's
created
never-
that. It
that's
should
never been
exist, but
addressed.
it doesn't yet exist.
So it doesn't exist. Okay. So if rejected, then they have to try again.
Yeah, it's one of those
First,
that we
I think if you've
decided
been
to.
rejected, you've got to go back to ideation stage.
Correct.
Okay. If rejected, go back to step 1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because clearly the community got a full chance to respond to your idea and didn't support it. So you should have to go all the way back to figuring out how to create something
right.
people will support.
Because that's where the community gets their feedback, is back in step 1.
Yeah, there's
All
no
right.
better check of true sentiment than it went to a vote and it failed.
I think that
So
wasn't
like
clear
now
to
you
me.
got to go back to ideas and figure out, okay, how do I have to make something that actually will be successful?
I think that wasn't clear to me while reading all the material, was that the community feedback in PIP draft is really nothing then. It's just people talking.
It's
Well,
next.
no,
It's next to nothing in ideation stage. I mean, if you get 25 thumbs up, it's a good junk filter. But you could still get 25 thumbs up and you could have a pip that launches and just gets smashed, and by the voter base, because really Discord's so thin. It's really, who are you talking to? Who is giving thumbs up? What's the size of the voting weight of those thumbs that you got?
What I mean is, in Pip
It's
Draft, though, all the community feedback there, it doesn't seem to really matter much then.
Well,
no
it matters.
community giving feedback on Pip Draft means nothing.
Well, it does, because they are talking
Oh.
to the author, and he can still change things. So he can decide that something that is hearing at that stage is important, and he can implement that.
Just mean they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Yeah, it's like
You're not seeking
with
social
me.
sentiment anymore.
Yeah, it's
But
with me right now in my PIP draft. It for the values list, I got some feedback from Bodhi. That was the last feedback I got, and I haven't implemented it yet. I also got a ton of feedback from the community, obviously, but it's kind of just all in my lap after the team, which is now us, gave me feedback.
Okay, I'm glad to know that my early feedback when I posted a lot in Pip Drafts didn't go to waste. I guess I misunderstood what the word draft meant then. All right, now it's clear. Okay. So
yeah, Andromeda, thank you for all the conversation, Andromeda. This is good. You're doing exactly what needs done. You have an idea. You don't know exactly what to do. You're asking questions. We're giving feedback, and this is exactly how this process goes. And so, yeah, definitely thank you for sticking it through, especially not being a native English speaker.
Right. More difficult. All right, and if they improve the pip, then any pip changes that happen during pip draft, we have to re-socialize that with Automaton Foundation to continue to make sure it's still viable. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I wasn't listening, sorry.
That's basically putting us in a loop between step 3 and step 4 until it finalizes. Okay. I think that's every step then. 6, 7, 8. I need to finish out with 9 and 10 probably with, if it succeeds, then they go through the KYC portion. Does every pip result in a KYC? Every successfully
It'll
voted
come
pip, I
down
mean?
to it'll come down to foundation requirements.
Oh, right.
essentially.
Never mind. We had that conversation. Okay, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
We
It's in
don't
the
have
judgment.
to make the call. Someone else will tell us.
Yeah, that's in the judgment of the foundation.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just roll it forward, and they'll go, "Hey, we're going to need a KYC for this," and then we'll go try to get it set up.
Okay, I think it's
Andromeda,
much clearer now.
Drum just put a piece in the other chat for a different server that could be really, really helpful for you. Nice.
Yeah, that's where most of the teams that play against each other in the Unreal Engine 5 component are.
Yeah, so maybe if you copied your pip idea from the UE5 tournament and pasted it in that server and asked them to help create a pip and give feedback, that would be a really, really good place to start. You could ask them to give you the 25 thumbs up.
And most of the people, well, half of that server is people that are not English speakers also. A lot from the
Espanol?
Spanish
He
and
did say
Brazilian community.
Ah. Wepa.
Spanish, Brazilian community, the Italians, there's a few.
Dale. Oh, good times.
Yeah, that's the votes that Signal is putting in this chat.
Yeah,
it's kinda interesting.
I hadn't seen the second one since yesterday, and it's going better for him today.
I love this
Is it
place.
wrong to say that I voted yes for it just temporarily because I felt bad? Like, man, that green side looks awful lonely. Let me fill it in a little.
You whale, you.
Who? Oh, is there a way to associate wallets with people? Is that already present? So we know
You
who's
totally
voting.
could, but there's no formal way to do it. Like,
Okay.
nothing's
You
been
just gotta be in
created.
the right
Nothing's been
guild.
created yet.
Okay. It
Like,
seemed
Gotta be in
like.
the right guild to know.
Oh yeah. All
I
right.
get.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You can
I
probably
can.
get access to the guilds wallets, the people that are registered in guilds, and then try to associate that with votes. But it's difficult because it's just numbers versus numbers.
I think you
Okay.
can maybe see the voting wallets. Like, that's honestly half the reason why, like, my PvP is like a meme. Like, I've got 426 Polis locked. It's just so if I vote, someone can like see it and like, okay, that's Signal.
Got it. Yeah. 426 426. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I'm the
live
only
in
person I think that has that exact lock. So it's kind of like a fingerprint for me whenever I vote.
For now.
Yeah.
Do you want to host a program in 426 FM?
Yes.
All right. That hasn't stopped for one day since I started it a couple years ago.
Tell
I
us
need to
more
get
about.
onto 426 FM with my DJ skills.
Yeah, right
Tell
now
us
it's
more
just
Got a
about
lot of
this.
Crazy Star Atlas songs to play.
and I'm about to move it to a different server that does cover music licensing because that's the main
Nice.
reason I haven't gone with advertising at all.
What are we
But
talking about?
now I'm going to stop being a pirate radio.
You're
And
gonna
I'm going to
ask
be
for
able
funds
to.
from a pip.
I might,
The
but not a
theme
lot.
song that I had that they shared in the brew the other day has like over 120 listens now.
I think if I ask $600 for a year of funding of the radio, I should get it super easily. Hopefully, we will see.
I think you would. I know somebody on council.
I know a couple. I know a couple whales.
Signal. Remember, everybody can watch this.
Everybody on council is corrupt, guys, just so you know. That's all we
Every
do.
single one of us.
All of us. It's training day back here.
We do it all in private. Nothing out in
Yeah.
public.
Man.
All right. What else do we
What
need?
else
We
we
have
got,
3 minutes
guys?
left. We're about to close.
I
I
need
think
to.
the chat has slowed down.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna get off work.
Okay. Is everyone okay for us to close the meeting?
I am, yes.
Okay. Thank you all for your time. This was SAC 2 meeting number 5. And go team go.
Oh, real quick.
Oh dear.
Who's gonna post who's gonna post the meeting minutes?
I'll post
Do you
them
mind
if
doing
you
that,
guys
Signal?
just give them to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's
I'll
easier for
download.
Signal if you do the JPEG and get it to Signal, then he posted. I think that's probably the simplest.
Yeah, no
You
problem. I'll
know
put
those
it.
public relations people.
You got to keep
Mhm.
it simple for Signal.
Yeah, Signal. I'll post the JPEG
That's
and
kind
at
of what
you.
I was saying. Cool.
All right. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Meeting
Thank you,
adjourned.
Bye,
guys.
boys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
Yay,
guys.
yay.
Yes.
I learned a lot.
I love it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye bye.